My name is Catherine, and in this theoretical video number 4, I'm going to talk about surveys. First, I'm going to explain this simple mind map about surveys. First, definition. The definition of surveys. Well, a survey is an instrument that can be used to collect data about a group of participants of an study, the attitudes and the opinions of those people. What is the importance of surveys in the quantitative research? Well, first, what is the difference between the qualitative and the quantitative? Well, in the qualitative research, the study is supported by other works, and in the case of the quantitative research, this is support by people, by the opinions or attitudes of people, and that information is collected by the use of instruments that can be, for example, survey or another kind of instruments, and that information is measured by a statistical way. And that is what is important, because, as I said, the quantitative research is supported by that information about the sample group or population, and we obtain that information through instruments like a survey. What is the content of a survey? Well, that it has different options, different questions, different answers that respondents or participants can select, and it is a structure, so we can have a statistical information. Also, a survey have to contain a statement of purpose, of the purpose of the study. In other words, like an introduction of the study in which we are going to explain the purpose of the survey and the study. Another important aspect is the instruction or direction. Those are like the instructions that are necessary for the reader to understand better the question. And obviously, a survey have to contain questions. What are the characteristics of the survey? Well, that it has to contain a purpose. It is essential that the participant identity is confidential, that the participants can voluntarily participate, that the contact information of the reader is included, and even demographic about the participants. Demographic is like the gender, the age, the place, such as a school, etc. Why a survey should be used to explore the independent variable of your study, in my case, my study? Well, the independent variable we know that those are very important parts of a study, of our research, because both include part of the topic we are developing. In my case, my topic is language anxiety, but in a specific, my independent variable is implement of speaking strategies, and the dependent variable is fluency. Why? Because I would like to know if the implementation of speaking strategies can improve the fluency of students that are suffering language anxiety. As the author McKee in 2016 mentioned, a survey is one of the most common methods of collecting data on attitudes and opinions from a large group of participants. In this case, can be the sample group or the population if the instrument is a census. So, according to my topic, my survey would be I need to implement a survey in my sample population, because in that way I can obtain the information I need to complete my work, my study. What are the dimensions of my survey? What dimensions your survey should have according to the definition of your independent variable? According to a personal research, dimensions are standardized statements that respondents can agree or disagree by rating their response on a sliding scale. As I mentioned, my independent variable is the implementation of speaking strategies. And according to that independent variable, for me, it would be ideal, it would be relevant to apply a survey to the students to discover how they themselves perceive their level of English and fluency. Why? Because I can compare what the students think about themselves and their real level of English and fluency, information that I can obtain through a fluency test. And here are two examples of items of a survey, of my survey, and the dimensions that I will use. First, I would like to explain that the items are in Spanish because as I read, it would be ideal to write the survey in the native language of the participants, because in that way they could better understand and respond the survey. The first item says: me siento seguro, segura al decir en voz alta una oración o texto en inglés. The dimensions will be de acuerdo, parcialmente de acuerdo, en desacuerdo, u otro. With those dimensions, I can measure if the students are agree, partial disagree, or if they are or if they have another opinion. The second item is no titubeo al momento de hablar en inglés, and the dimensions are the same. And last but not least, what characteristics your survey questions should have to explore your independent variable using the quantitative research approach. As I read, and according to the author Lorico, 2006, there are some specific criteria for writing good survey items. I consider that those criteria are like characteristics for writing good survey items. And even though all the criteria he mentioned are important, such as be clear and concise in the language used, make sure that each survey item gathers data on one central idea or question, avoid using double negatives, make sure that the items, particularly demographic items, are not going to be confused, grade items that allow participants to express what they really believe rather than suggesting a particular response are important. But in my case, in the case of my study, and with the purpose of explore my independent variable, I consider that the characteristics that I would like to focus are including all the possible answers and grade items that do not assume information about the participants. To obtain the most reliable answers for my study. And that will be all. Thank you so much.